Welcome to New Possibilities. There was some kind of problem with my computer, so my Hangout was interrupted. Sorry about that. Hopefully, people were able to rejoin. So I'm going to post the link again. I know it's super late. I'm usually not up this late, but we were having a good discussion. Then all of a sudden, my computer began to freeze up, and I lost the connection with the brothers that I was building with. We had a great discussion going on about the Umar Johnson situation. So hopefully they'll see this and they'll be able to quickly rejoin. I have the link in the description box for anybody that wants to join. Hopefully Psycho and the brother Aaron Collins will see this and get back on. I'm going to go to my video manager to see what happened with that Hangout. I think it just shut down. Yeah, I think it just stopped. So it's marked at 2 hours long. So hopefully somebody will tune in and join this. Hopefully they'll be able to see this and rejoin it. All you have to do is click the link and we can continue where we left off. So I'll wait around a couple of minutes. Hopefully they'll be able to rejoin and we can continue where we left off. Psycho may have started another Hangout. Let me go to my Facebook page to see if there's what's going on. I mean, my YouTube page. So I'll wait a couple of minutes. I know it's super late, but yeah, because we were having a good discussion about the Umar Johnson situation, and then all of a sudden, my computer. Oh, I see Psycho's there. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man. Somehow I had something wrong with my computer, and it just locked up, and we were cut off. I don't know what.
I figured that happened because I saw you didn't have anybody come in and do anything funny or whatever. So I was like, yeah, his computer probably went down. Yeah, and I know once you go off for more than 5 minutes, it automatically shuts the Hangout down. So
yeah, because I think what happened with mine is like my computer was like reloading. Hold on, let me make sure my audio's down. Yeah, my audio's down. Yeah, my computer was like updating or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what was going on. Like it just locked up and I couldn't control the mouse or anything.
Yeah, you probably just had to reboot your old computer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, we were flowing too, man. You go making some great points. Then all of a sudden.
What was your opinion about the whole, I saw you did, I didn't get a chance to catch it, but I saw you touched on the whole Michael B. Jordan situation or whatever. I didn't really get to catch a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I thought that was a hoax. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that there was a big campaign of Black women to boycott against that film. You know, there was a couple of tweets, and I think that what happened was the media like blew it way out of proportion, gave it way more attention than it deserved, and it became such a big deal. You know, I don't think that most Black women were out there organizing some boycott against this film. You know, I think that it was overhyped, and a lot of people used this as an opportunity to bash Black women. That's just the way I saw it, and I think that the people who actually did support it, I think that they were mixed up. I don't think that they should have done that. Like, you know, I think that if you were to boycott films because people were in interracial relationships, you wouldn't be able to watch anything in Hollywood, any Black movie.
That's real, and that's real.
Because it's so common, you know, it's so common, especially among Black men. All these Black men that date outside the race and marry white women and stuff like that. I did a video not too long ago where I was showing like 30-something Black men who are dating and marrying white women. You know, these black entertainers, actors, and other type of black entertainers,
It's,
all with white women.
Yeah, and you know, I think I commented on that video pointing out that the reason why that is, deny the numbers, there's way more black men swirling in Hollywood and amongst black celebrities in general. You know, it's also way more celebrities, black male celebrities than they are black female celebrities as well. I think that's why the numbers are a little bit skewed heavily towards the men's side opposed to the women's side.
That's something I don't know about, though. I don't know, like, if there's more black male celebrities, because there are a lot of black women actors. There's a lot of black women athletes, stuff like that.
But when you start looking into like the sports aspect of things, it's heavily male dominated opposed to women.
Well, sports, definitely in sports. But in terms of like Hollywood, you know, there's a large number of black women actors as well. So
true.
So I don't know if that applies in Hollywood, but in sports,
like how many black
ladies? In sports, is a great point.
A lot of black female lead. No, I would say it's not really a ton of black female leading ladies. What's her name? Tarazi, what's her name again? The girl from Baby Boy or whatever. I know she got a movie that she's got coming out right now.
Yeah, Proud Mary. Yeah, that's coming out.
P. Henson, whatever her name is. Yeah. What you call it? Obviously, you got Angela Bassett, and you got obviously the Halle Berry. If you want to call her black, I'll just throw her in the mix. See, you know, you got like, you know, I'll be shocked if you can name me more than 10. I'll be shocked if you can name me more than 10. You'll probably struggle to get to that 10th black female.
Yeah, but it's a lot of them. It's quite a few. I mean, you got Alfred Woodard, you got Jada Pinkett Smith, you got
Jada Pinkett's another one, yeah.
Yeah, you got Angela Bassett. You got, I mean, it's a good number of black women actresses. You know,
that leading ladies. I'm saying leading ladies though. That like that headlines a movie. We don't have a lot that headlines movies.
And really, we don't have a lot of black male actors that headline movies. It's like, you know, it's like a handful of people. Like you got your Will Smiths and your Denzel Washingtons and stuff like that. You know, it's a few, and Idris Elba. You know, it's a few people.
Michael B. Jordan now. You gotta throw him in.
Yeah.
And the dude that played James Brown and Jackie Robinson.
Right. Yeah. What's his? I can't remember his name. That's the brother that's gonna be in the movie. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I see your point, but I think that point is better made when it comes to athletes, because you have all these professional sports that are dominated by men. So I get that point. But with, you know, in terms of Hollywood, I think that there's a comparable number of black men and women. And
it's more even in Hollywood.
You know, and then if you look at just overall, like black men and black women, when you look at the Pew Research statistics and all that stuff, where it's like twice the number of black men and you know, interracially marry and date and all that kind of stuff.
That gets to my original point. That gets to my original point. I think it's a classism thing. I think men have more opportunities to swirl. That's why more men are swirling. I don't think black women has the same opportunity that black men have to swirl.
Yeah, I don't know about that, because I hear a lot of black women say that they get approached by white men and other races of men all the time. So I don't know about that. I just think
sexual relationships, but as far as like having long-term relationships and marriage and everything, like how many of these same white men that's approaching them are trying to marry them? Are they trying to marry them, or are they just trying to sleep with them?
I don't know about that, because I know a lot. I mean, as a matter of fact, like just in a circle of people that I like, colleagues and stuff like that, I know quite a few professional black women who are married to professional white men. So I don't think that it's just
classism. You just said professional black women.
Yeah, professional black women. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But I don't think that it's a situation where black women are not viewed as desirable by these other groups of people, because you have black women being approached by these other guys all the time.
No,
And
I'm
I think that it's part of it is that the black man is like the pursuer. Like, you know, a man is usually the pursuer. And because of that,
right.
like a lot of men act out this need to they view the white woman as like some kind of trophy a lot of times. A lot of these successful black men, you know, they view this white woman as a standard of beauty, and they're like,
Right.
oh, you know, I have the nice job, or I'm successful in this career. I have all this money, so let me get a white woman to go along with it. That's my trophy of
Again,
my accomplishment.
yeah.
And you know, that's the case for a lot of black men, unfortunately.
That's what I was getting at, the classism thing. That's what I'm saying. When
and
black
even black men that aren't even
general,
rich and stuff like that, black men in the hood, they want to get I mean, some black men, they want to get with the white woman too.
They view it as status. They'll take the fat white girl with food stains on her shirt up at Walmart over average sister in the hood that looks better than everything, but they'll take that fat white girl because they view that fat white girl as higher status than the average black girl in the hood. And that's actually crazy. But again, the thing I was getting, classism again, it's a status. Like when black people have the opportunity to try to, like, when they gain certain status within society, gravitating towards people outside of the race. The stats just show it. Like when people, it's about opportunities. Like again, I feel like men have more opportunities than women as far as like the whole, because the whole thing is about, you know, what we have. You know, men try to acquire a lot of things because, you know, if you acquire a lot of things, that makes you more appealing. You know, it's about, you know, power, everything. You know, women are attracted to men with power. So just be real. That women are attracted to that. You know, like you see certain dudes and everything. You like, God, how does guy get all these women around him and all this other stuff? All these women flocking in it because he has power. Women are attracted to that. You know,
yeah, I agree with that. But you know, my only thing is I don't think that men have more of an opportunity necessarily to be in these interracial relationships. You know, a lot of black women talk about how, you know, these guys hit on them and want to get with them all the time. And you see a lot of black women who are with white men. Like you will even see like black women that have natural hair and, you know, they look Afrocentric and, you know, but yet they're with these white guys. And then you'll see like a lot of educated black women. So I don't think it's a matter of like one having more opportunity to be with another race than the other. You know, I just think that unfortunately a lot of black men have been like programmed to view this white woman as some kind of trophy. And when black men get status, or even when they don't have status, that's what they pursue. And, you know, I think that it's unfortunate that you have yet another actor like this guy, Michael B. Jordan, pursuing a white woman. And, you know, people are trying to say, well, she's Latino and blah, blah, blah. It's like they always try to come up with some kind of excuse to put somebody in a category other than white. You know, when this woman looks clearly white, she's probably a white Latino or whatever. But it's just a shame to see another example. But I don't think that, you know, even if that's the case that he's with this white girl and stuff like that, I don't think that that's a justification to boycott a film. It's not like it's not like a situation. Like the only thing I'll add is like it's not like he's said something disrespectful to the sisters. Like if he was disrespecting the sisters, you know, or if he had a history of abusing women or something like that, then I think a boycott would be justified. I could understand somebody saying, well, we're going to boycott this guy. He's disrespectful to black women. Like he's made misogynistic statements towards black women and he's elevated this white woman, but that's not the case with him. So for that reason, I wouldn't support a boycott. And that's the same reason why I wouldn't support like people not watching Luke Cage, you know, Marvel's Luke Cage, simply because the guy is married to a white woman. And the same is true for black women with white men. I wouldn't boycott a film like a Halle Berry film just because she's in an interracial relationship, or some other woman that's in an interracial relationship.
I agree there too. Like Regina, what's her name, Regina King or whatever. Like, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's not.
Oh, she's with a white guy.
Oh yeah, she's a big time swirler. She's a big
Oh,
time swirler. She be cooning too. She be
she's
yeah.
a
I was disappointed. I was disappointed when I found out because I was big on her when I was younger. So yeah, I was disappointed when I found all that out. But you know,
yeah. So we were talking about that. We were talking about that Umar situation. So what do you think about like the whole controversy with his license and about this GoFundMe thing? Like, you know, the fact that his GoFundMe was shut down and stuff like that. Oh, I see that Aaron Collins is in the house. So Aaron, you could click on that link and rejoin. I had some computer problems. So that's why we got disconnected. So if you click on that link, you can rejoin. And I'm going to try to, I could email it to you again if that's easier for you. But yeah, Psycho, tell me what you think about that, though. We were talking about it, but we got cut off.
yeah. I was just saying before that the whole I think he's definitely possibly guilty of deceiving the people because you know the people when they hear you say that you're a psychologist, they're assuming that you went through all the proper you know parameters in order to make these claims. And my whole my issue with Umar is like you know, and again I'm not an Umar hater. Let me just say that I'm just calling what I see. I'm just keeping it real. But he's you know I seen him make claims that he was a psychiatrist, and I'm not a person that you know a lot of Umar fans say you know well do you ask your doctor whether or not he got his PhD or like do you ask you ask your lawyers this and do you back listen people have to understand I am not one of these people that are against people who are self-schooled, self-educated. Even though I believe Umar do got his do have his PhD, like you were saying before, I think he just don't have a certificate. But even if he didn't have his PhD, I'm not a person that feels like a person should be discredited because they were self-taught. A lot of people are self-taught. You know, you understand, and I got a problem with somebody saying that they went through all the proper framework in order to be certified within the European framework of you know and everything, and then turn around and come to find out they didn't because that makes you a deceiver. You can't.
Right. And that's my biggest issue. That's my biggest issue with the thing. Like, you know, it's not like you have to have certain qualifications to speak on these issues.
Right.
You know, definitely you have to have qualifications to be talking about psychological issues and all that kind of stuff. But to just talk about Black issues, you don't need a degree. I mean, Malcolm X didn't have a degree. Elijah Muhammad didn't have a degree. That's not necessary. The problem is the deception, man. That's the big problem.
Yeah.
And I can't trust a leader who intentionally misleads and deceives people. You know, people held him in high esteem, you know, not just because of his speaking ability, but because of his education and because of the perceived license that they thought this man had, because he was a psychologist. You know, that's because, you know, that's one of the reasons why people took what he said seriously when it came to psychological issues. But if that's all based on a lie that you have a license, that's problematic, and that makes you not trustworthy of leadership if that's the case. You know, that's like me holding myself out to be a lawyer when I don't, you know, I haven't passed the bar. Like even if I went to law school and I didn't, you know, I didn't take the bar or I failed the bar and stuff like that, but yet I'm out here acting like I'm a licensed lawyer, telling people I'm an attorney and offering legal advice and all that kind of stuff. That's deception. And you know, people can be penalized for that, like in the legal field. And I'm sure that there's you know, that people can be penalized for that in psychology as well. They face fines and all that kind of stuff. So,
I mean, and especially in this community, that he like in this community, the last thing they going to demonize you for is not having a degree. If he would have came out and said, "Well, forget about I I ain't even go through all the proper parameters to get the master's degree, because I don't subscribe to the white man European paperwork and everything else. And forget the white man's paperwork. I don't need his paperwork in order to tell me that I'm a psychologist and everything. If he would have said that, these same people would still love him. Matter of fact, he would have had more people come flocking to him, because pseudo people on here winning.
Yeah, that's true.
The more pseudo you are, the more they love you up on here. So it's the last thing they caring about is European paperwork. So I don't understand why he would even feel the need to have to lie about that.
Exactly, yeah.
When most of these people running around here talking that's considered our speakers or quote unquote online leaders and everything, most of these people don't got no degrees.
Yeah, that's true. And the thing about him is like after all this time of presenting himself as a psychologist, when it came time to respond to that paperwork, he said he never held himself out as having a license to practice psychology. But yet he's all over social media, all over the media, you know, referring to himself as a psychologist and all that kind of stuff. So I think that that's a big problem. Then with this GoFundMe thing, you know, the fact that he had his GoFundMe was shut down, that raises a lot of questions in my mind. I mean, he received a notice from GoFundMe. They gave him 48 hours to respond. He failed to respond, and it was shut down based on that. And then he claims that he didn't respond to them because they had sent these requests to him before, and he's responded on prior occasions. Then he claimed that they were taking too much money from the GoFundMe, saying that they took like 150,000 from the 400,000 or whatever number. And I think that that's ridiculous, because GoFundMe only takes 5%, and I think he's exaggerating, and he's using that as an excuse for being shut down.
Well, last time they only take 5%.
Yeah, from what I understand, I'm on Google it right now.
5%. Well, I'm gonna tell you. Somebody posted a picture of his GoFundMe right before it got shut down. So I got the number I saw. I know it was well over 500,000.
The amount that he raised. The amount that he raised was over 500,000.
Yes. So I mean, what's that? 5% of 500,000. And then that's what's that? 25,000.
Yeah, let me 25,000. Yeah, let me check on the GoFundMe page.
No, I'm wrong. That's 20. No, I'm not. Ain't 25,000. It's 2,500, right? 2,500.
Yeah, I have to pull up the map. I mean, up a calculator. I'm trying to find this GoFundMe page. It tells you exactly how much they take. Okay, yes. I think
that might have been right. I'm trying to do the math in my head.
Yeah, so I'm going to share this page real quick so people could see this. It's even less than what I was.
120. I know it don't equate no 125,000. I know that.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
That's like a quarter of what he has. That's like a quarter of what he made. So that's way off.
Yeah, that's so I'm going to share this right now. So you see this right here. It says like it says there's a 2.9% payment processing fee.
Mm-hmm. That's not even 5%. That's less than 5%.
Yeah, that's less than 5%. And then I went on this other. I saw when I Google searched it. This came up. That says that let's see. Yeah, it says GoFundMe will deduct a 5% fee from each of your donations, and you will also be charged 2.9% plus a 30-cent fee.
Oh, okay, so that's like 8% then.
Yeah, total. So
that's like 8%.
Yeah, right. For each donation. So for each donation, it's like 5%. So
pretty much the 2.9 is just tax. That's all. Matter of fact, it's all tax, honestly. But yeah, all right. So yeah, it was at 7.
Add up to know 150,000. I think that's an exaggeration.
Yeah, that's still. I mean, how much money did he raise if they took that much money out of him? Like that means
that's what I want to know. And I want to know, like, if he used any of the money, like if he used any of the money for anything else, like for hotels or for living
I'm
expenses.
sure he has. I mean, we talking years. We talking this is like how many was it been 2 years at least
Yeah,
that
I
this
think it's been
GoFundMe has
three
been up?
years or something. I think it's been at least 3 years.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he used some of that money, if not
And
all.
I think,
I'm pretty sure.
yeah, I'm sure. And then Tariq made a good point about like how he was overselling the school, man, like overhyping it and stuff like that, man. Like just, I mean, basically it comes down to what I've heard people say about how pimps run game. Like what they'll do is sell a prostitute a dream and get them to buy into that dream in order to keep giving their money to this pimp and stuff like that. And that's basically how Tariq compared, this whole deal, like how he was presenting this school, like you'll be able to do all these fantastic things at this school. He was overselling it. And what he needs to do, like on his Instagram, he constantly, as I've said in my prior videos, he's posted like the notice of hearing and stuff like that. He's posted all these memes and stuff like that, basically saying he's being persecuted. Why don't he post the bank statements? Why don't he post his license?
That
Why
would
don't
kill a
he?
lot of people.
Yeah, I mean that would
Yeah,
just resolve a lot of.
he'll post the letter that they wrote him, which I didn't even understand his purpose even putting, like, you putting your business on social media, then you get mad when everybody's talking about your business. Well, why'd you put it out there? Ain't like we knew about this until you put it out there. But that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, and then he posted the letter. He posted the notice of hearing without posting the order to show cause, so people would know what the actual hearing was about. And he it's like that's another example of him and his lack of transparency. He's showing you one part without showing you the whole thing. So people didn't even know what the allegations were against him and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then they didn't see his response where he actually acknowledged not having a license and all that kind
Why
of stuff.
not just show your license? Why not just show your license? I mean, most psychiatrists got their license hanging up on their wall in their office. Like, why not just
agree? Like
maybe
that.
he
That
didn't actually go get his license yet. It was like in the last stream, hey fellas, what's up? It's like maybe like I was saying in the last live stream, he probably actually didn't go get his license. I mean, he got the doctorate, but he didn't get the license. Maybe, but I agree. I'm not making excuses for him. He does need to be transparent, especially if you're gonna be making all these claims to be the Prince of Pan-Africanism and that you got all this influence and stuff, and so yeah, I think you owe the people that much.
Yeah, and even his even his degrees, like he's been criticized about that. And I know that the Root did an article where they verified that he had his PhD and all that kind of stuff. But he could have laid all that stuff to rest by simply posting his degrees on his social media, showing people his degrees. Then it would be hard for people to even debate about it if he could show them the actual degrees. Like if somebody were to say, well, I don't think you went to Howard, or I don't think you went to Rutgers Law School, New Possibilities, Show and Prove. All I would have to do is take 5 minutes, go to my office, show them all my degrees and show them my licenses to practice law in these different jurisdictions. That would be simple. That would shut down the controversy, shut my critics up and stuff like that. And that's something that he could have done. Like with respect to these funds, all he has to do is show a bank statement showing that no money has been taken out, showing exactly how much he received. Because I was watching like this video that Sarnetter did, like somebody took a clip of Sarnetter's video where he was showing the people his bank statement, how much he received, how much GoFundMe took from him, the amount GoFundMe took. And that's something that Umar Johnson could have easily done. But I think that his ego is so out of control that he doesn't feel like he has to be held accountable to anyone. I mean, this is a man, after all, who constantly speaks of himself in third person.
Didn't Umar go into it didn't he get into it with Sarnetter or something? Wasn't he beefing with him too for a bit? I know he was with General
They've been going back and forth for a while, actually. But that's a problem. What you was just saying about with Umar. I don't want a leader that feels like he's above approach. I don't want no leader that feels like he's above approach. Nobody's above approach in my eyes. If people sense that you're doing something that isn't right, they should have the right to ask questions.
Exactly. I mean, we all human.
To be a dictator. If once you feel like you're above approach, you're running your ship like it's a dictatorship. And deal with that.
People want to ask, what would Jesus do? Well, he would do a lot, but I ain't Jesus. I'm me. So I'm Aaron.
Right.
So, you know, I love Jesus, but I ain't him.
So what did y'all think about Boyce Watkins and his response to the whole thing? Did y'all see his response?
I really didn't see it. I'm thinking about checking it out, but no, I haven't seen it yet. I know he sided with Tariq because, as I stated before, you know, him and Umar still got some bad blood between each other, and he can say that no, it's gone, but it's still some bad blood.
It definitely feels like it's more personal between them two, as far as like Boyce Watkins and Umar. Like it felt like it's like definitely more going on there, as far as like, you know, shots thrown back and forth with each other, where opposed to, I think the Umar Tariq thing was kind of one-sided. I think Umar had issues with Tariq, but I don't think Tariq necessarily had issues with Umar until Umar started, you know, going on his little tirade.
Right.
I think that was more of a Umar having a problem with Tariq more so than, and then they both have issues. I think Boyce Watkins and Umar, I think they both have issues with each other. I think, like, yeah, I think the hate is real with both of them.
Yeah, it's just something else, man.
I mean, but the thing with him and Tariq, man, it's almost like a conscience version of the East Coast, West Coast rap battle, almost. I mean, it's like Biggie and Pac all over again. And I hate to pick those two brothers up because, you know, these brothers are both in their grave, you know, rest in peace. But really, these are grown-ass men that really need to just sit down somewhere. I mean, they need to just get somewhere and, you know, rethink what is their purpose in life and in the community.
Yeah, the funny thing is, you made that comparison between the Pac and Biggie beef, and it's funny that Umar Johnson, like, he refers to himself as Big Papa or
Big
Papa.
Oh, I did not know that.
Like,
That's completely
like
coincidental.
I mean, that guy, his ego is crazy, man. Like,
I didn't know Umar called himself that. I honestly did not know Umar called himself that at all.
Yeah, he calls himself Papa, man, and he also says like he a King Kong people and this and that, and then he constantly
King Kong consciousness.
Yeah, it's like he'll like do a video, and he's constantly referring to himself in the third person, like he's like Umar Johnson does this, Umar Johnson does that. I mean, who does that?
That's a sign.
I mean,
that's a sign of a narcissist.
About themselves that way.
That's a sign of a narcissist. Only a narcissist person. That's like, you know, like just look at the way Tammy titles all his videos. How does Tammy title all his videos? Tammy Soda Moisture does against blah blah blah. He always titles his videos like it's somebody else uploading a Tammy video opposed to him.
Damn, when people do that, man. And there's a lot of people that do that. Like they'll say, you know, they use their own names and their own titles all the time. And I find that to be like so annoying and narcissistic. I mean, some people that do that, I just had to unsubscribe from them, man. Like, because it gets to be so annoying, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, who is that so self-centered? You know what I'm saying? Where they think the whole world revolves around them.
But that's, again, sign of narcissism. It's a sign of narcissism. Anytime you see, and Umar has that. Umar's a narcissist. It's real evident. You know, I mean, some of the things he said was just so out of pocket. Like, you know, like I agree with Tariq said. Like he kind of took a dump on everybody else that was in them Hidden Colors series. Like he really kind of just minimized all their scholarship, all their work. Hold up, bro. Like, wasn't you the new pup out of everybody that was in the Hidden Colors series? Like, all these other people had resumes. Like, you just came out of nowhere and just popped up on the Hidden Colors series with no resume or nothing, and you just automatically just, these people that's been doing this for decades, like the Phil Valentines and the Professor Smalls and Francis Cress Wilson, are you like you need to pump your brakes, bro?
Yeah, he thought like because of him, he thought that he was the sole reason why that thing sold so well and was successful. And it's like, I mean, like Tariq was saying, like it looks like the whole syndrome where you had a person that wants to be the head of the band and be like the one that gets all the attention and all that stuff.
That was the perfect analogy. He called them the Bobby Brown of consciousness.
No, he was like saying he was like the Eddie Kane or the David Ruffin of the group. Man, you know, thinking everything revolves around him, man. And there were so many people in that film that brought something to the table. You know, also you had Tariq Nasheed directing it and marketing it, you know, so it wasn't about him. It's like he's so full of himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and Tariq brought up the whole thing, like, is he on a narcotic and all that kind of stuff? And the first thing I thought about when he said that was like him being on some cocaine or something, man. Because it's like that's what drugs do. Like they'll make you have an elevated sense of self. You know what I'm saying?
Ego's a part of drugs. The ego's a drug too, though. Like your ego could cause you dopamines as well.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true, man. He could be high on his own ego.
Yep, exactly.
So what did y'all think about that video? Like I did a video about this white guy, this Nazi that married this black woman. What do y'all think about that, man? That you actually have black
I don't know the story. I don't know the story. I missed that one.
Oh, I think I know the one you're talking about. I'm gonna have to watch that one. Nicole's View did. I think Nicole's View did a video on it. I'm gonna have to check it out. I haven't seen it just yet.
Yeah, but it's like this Nazi guy. This guy was a Nazi. And even while he was a Nazi, this black woman was in touch with him. They had some friendship, and she was beginning to fall in love with him. And she fell in love with him actually before he renounced Nazism and white supremacy and all that kind of stuff. And eventually he went ahead and renounced it. He joined the church that she was a part of and all that kind of stuff. So what do y'all think about that?
Well, you talking about, you're still talking about the not, I mean,
yeah,
the black woman that married the Nazi, right?
Nazi. And I see that somebody else has joined here. Somebody going by real. Oh, okay, they got out. Yeah. So, what do you think about that? This black woman marrying this former, quote unquote, former Nazi. And the thing is, like, this guy still kept his Nazi memorabilia. Like, he still kept his Nazi uniform and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, my first thought is like, what the hell is wrong with this black woman, man? What's wrong with these kind of people that do this, marry racists and stuff, white supremacy?
Self-hate is real. The self-hate is real amongst us as a people. Again, that's why I don't like making it an agenda thing, because like this is a problem that black people have. Like we all have this problem. Like for some strange reason, we deem the other races way more in higher regard than we deem ourselves. Like we really feel like we hit some kind of jackpot or something if we dating outside of our race. Like, and the first opportunity that we get, we jump aboard, and it's really sad to see, to be honest with you. And to have that much self-hate to sit up here and get with somebody who was a known white supremacist. This ain't a suspected white supremacist. This is a known white supremacist. And I'm not beat that he all of a sudden he's a former, but he got a clean slate. Now this is some sick dude. He's probably trying to live out some sick fetish that he has. This is perfect plantation syndrome going on. Perfect storm. You got obviously a woman who probably is looking for somebody, probably got her own little sick fetishes as well, because we can't put all these fetishes on the Europeans. A lot of us black people got fetishes as well. Like, you know, a lot of these women want to be dominated by white men, and a lot of these black men want to play the whole slave role as well. They got little sick fetishes where you got some things with some women, some of these Becky's out here talking all crazy to the black man and whatever, and the black man getting turned on by this crap, calling them niggas and everything else, and this, that, and the third. Like it's sick fetishes flying around all over the place. I don't know what to put this off on. I don't like this whole, it's a combination of a lot of things. There's so much nuances in all this swirling aspects of things. A lot of it has to do with the the integration era that we was raised in, because I think we all around the same age bracket. I'm a 70s baby. I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm assuming we all around the same age, close to it. Integration era. We was raised in an
I'm a
era
70s
where
baby myself. Basically,
okay.
We all know it's stems from self-hate, and not to say that former Nazi can't be reformed, can't give up his ways. Yeah, I get that, but for her to get with him while he's still in it, that's pretty insane. I mean, that's not using good sense right there. I mean, why would you get with someone knowingly how that they feel a certain way about the group of people that which you came from? How is that productive?
Understand?
It's actually madness.
It has to be some fetishes going on.
Yeah, and the thing is, this guy actually said that he had committed terrible acts. Like, he admitted to doing that. So I wonder, like, how many black people this guy brutalized and stuff like that.
Right.
And one thing that was funny about this situation is that he found out that this black woman had been harassed by these Nazis, and then shortly after that, he decides to join them. Like shortly after hearing that this black woman had been harassed, he decided to go ahead and join this group. And also, he said that he had been fascinated with the Nazis since he was like 5 years old and stuff like that. And this guy was put in a leadership position with these Nazis. He was like the chief of SS. So, I mean, it's just really sick that you would have a black woman marry somebody like this.
Mm-hmm. It is. It shows how mentally sick a lot of us are. We damaged. We got this savior complex that for some strange reason, and some black people feel like you ain't nothing if you don't have white people in your surrounding your life.
Right.
They think, I don't know why that is, but that's just it's subliminal stuff that's been pushed on us over centuries. Constantly beating us down about our parents, how educated we supposedly are or can be. You got some people that feel like we got a cap on how intelligent we could become. Like once we get to that certain level, that's it. We can't surpass that.
Mm-hmm.
Like unless we got some kind of European DNA up in us, and then all of a sudden we can kill off the dumb gene. Because apparently we got the dumb gene. That's what these Europeans will try to tell you. They'll try to hit you with these statistics and IQs and everything else. So mentally, that's doing something to us or something. A lot of us probably don't even want to breed with another black person because they got these little, preconceived thoughts in their head. You got the whole good hair, bad hair thing. A lot of us, a lot of black people don't want their kids to grow up with nappy hair, because maybe they was teased about their hair as a child. So they don't want their child to go through what they went through. So they try to do what they can to make sure that their child don't experience that. They want their child to have good hair. Maybe they experienced a lot of colorism as a child, so now they want to grow up and they don't want their child to have to deal with the colorism issue. So they want their child to be lighter than they are. So they go try to find something, again, a lot of this has to do with breeding as well, because, again, people are concerned about, where their genes are being spread or how their genes are being spread. And they consider European DNA as an upgrade in search of European DNA. It's sad. Like I said, it's a lot of nuance behind this.
How did our people get so? Who put the mind trick over us that we think that everything white is right? I mean, it's this system of Willie Lynch and Jim Crow has really done a number. I mean, we will literally break. I'm talking about we as in us in here, but I'm talking about collectively. It's like we will break our necks just to be with that white man or that white woman. I mean, what does that cave person have that you just want so bad? I mean, for one thing, they burn up in the sun. They're recessive genetically. Eggs can't stick to the uteruses of the females. The men have a low sperm count. I mean, should I go any further?
Yeah, I mean, you got again, a lot of it is status. A lot of people. That's why they go out. They view, when they think of a trophy wife, they think of the first thing most black men think of is a non-black woman. That's the first thing they think of, because that's what's been constantly presented to them. To them is the trophy wife is the non-black woman. That's the trophy wife. How many people really sit up here and deem the black woman as the trophy wife? Not you know, it's not, that's not the perception.
Yep.
You know, I might deem it that way, but that's not the social norm. You understand? The social norm is the non-black woman. That is what is considered to be the trophy wife. They are the ones who are considered to be exotic, so to speak, quote unquote. So this is what they strive for. This is what black men do, you know. And plus, not to mention, they feel like they can get into certain avenues socially if they have a non-black woman. You know, if they feel like if they got a non-black woman, that non-black woman could probably get them into different avenues or whatever. Some of them do it for career moves. Some of them do it like, you know, again, it's a lot of different things. Some of it is just fetish. Some of it is business. Some of it is, you know, it's a lot of stuff going on. But people have these different reasons for doing it. Some people honestly believe the whole "we are one human race" crap. Some people really believe that. I don't believe it, but some people really believe that whole thing. You know, like this whole race thing is just a social construct. I think that's some mind trick, Jedi mind trick they done played on themselves to try to, you know, make themselves feel better for not being faithful to our women. To be honest with you, but I think they tricked themselves to really believe it, though. That's really the case, but I don't agree with them.
Kind of reminds me of that Ice Cube song on Death Certificate called "Be True to the Game." It reminds me so much of that. It's like, just because you can't go through the snow, you gotta get a white bitch on your elbow. That's part of the lyrics, and
yeah,
that's how a lot of these brothers think. And I don't like to call women bitches, black, white, or whatever. I'm just reciting the lyrics to the song, but I understood where he's coming from. You get a little bit of money, all of a sudden you got to go find you the whitest thing out there, and like you said, it's like it's a status symbol. Yeah, you can prove to the white man you can have what he's got, and it's like exactly. Yesterday I was listening to I think an old interview from Umar. He was mentioning how that he brought up the Loving versus Virginia, okay, which is a real good thing. A good case he brought up. Loving versus Virginia was about that one man. Loving, he was trying to marry that one particular white woman. I mean black woman, which was actually biracial, and I don't even think she claimed her black side, but either way, she was melanated. And that was really about him wanting to marry her. It wasn't about for everyone else to marry white women. But as soon as that happened and they passed that law saying that it was illegal to discriminate against someone marrying someone from another race, black men in droves went and found white women to marry. It's like, you won't you fight
that's what
so hard for women.
It was almost like that's what they was fighting for, right? It's like it's crazy. It's crazy when you think about it. Because first chance they got, just like you said, they went running the droves to go find them some not. Because you got this. That's another nuance to this. You got these brothers out here who convince themselves that we can just have sex and just eradicate the whole white race by just breeding them out. You know, they really believe that we can just breed out the white race. And again, that goes into the whole how dangerous the one drop rule mindset is. Because again, if these brothers, who like to swirl and everything else, if they actually had the mindset that these mixed kids that they're having aren't black, they might sit up here and, reconsider where they actually spread in their genes. And now, like, because now they will have to sit up here because in their heads, they're still having black kids.
Yeah.
They believe all their kids are actually black in their heads. Yeah. So that's why it's not a big deal. What's the big deal? I got me a white girl. Who cares? I still having black kids. My son's still going to be black. My daughter's still going to be black. Who cares? That's because they done convinced themselves of this. But if they have in their head that these kids are not black, these kids are actually mixed, and you're not going to be having any black kids, so therefore you're killing off your black genes, they might reconsider. Not all of them, but some of them will probably reconsider what they're doing. because they're gonna have to put some deeper thought into where they putting they, where they laying, who they laying up with.
Yep. They're still, and you know what? They've actually gotten on to it though. They've actually caught on. Now they're promoting swirling because they've actually caught on to the fact that if you look at the commercials and TV shows, they've actually caught on now that saying that, okay, say if you get with somebody white, the child's gonna come out biracial, but say that biracial child gets with a white person, well, whatever child that they have is going to be white. I mean, just look at Paula Patton and Robin Thicke's child. That's a white son. That is a white boy they have as a son, and and he's going to get with probably a white girl most likely, and they're going to have white kids. So they're smart enough to know.
That these mixed babies, these mixed children get older and they get with non-black people, which means that their kids, which means your grandkids, the person who originally started the swirl, their grandkids are going to be non-black. They are one generation away from their grandkids being non-black, and that's why I said the one drop rule is dangerous mindset to have. We really need to drop that. We need to get out that mindset. I know people are strongly attached to this. This is something that's really taboo in our community, and this is something that holds dear to a lot of people because a lot of us have mixed people in our families. That's just the reality of the situation. Me myself, I have family members that are mixed. You understand? But at the end of the day, we have to. At the end of the day, a cutoff has to be made. Else we're not protecting our genes. We're not protecting our genes. This is how the natives ended up being so scarce in this country. And they bloodline is completely eradicated now, almost to the point where they did so much swirling and everything, and this, that, third, and so much killing was going on with them. They pretty much minimized in this country, like to small reservations scattered around all over the place. Like, I don't want that to be us. You understand? Yeah. I don't want to look around one day and there's a bunch of beige and just a bunch of non-black people just walking around and just a handful of real black people. Like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I hear your point. Like, and I understand what you're saying, but when it comes to like biracial people, like this society, I have a different viewpoint than you on biracial people. In this society, race is a social construct, and biracial people are treated and viewed as black for the most part. Like they suffer from the same kind of discrimination that black people suffer from. You do have colorism where there are some privileges and all that kind of stuff, but for the most part, they're discriminated against by the society, just like any other black person. They face the same kind of conditions that black people face, and they are viewed and treated as black. So I don't think that it really helps us as a community to write off, biracial people as non-black and not accept them and stuff like that and embrace them if they identify with their blackness. I mean, all we have to do is look back at, for instance, Barack Obama, a biracial man. They treated him, despite his education and his accomplishments, they treated him as the N-word. They disrespected him. Definitely. Depicted him and his family as a family of chimpanzees, depicted him as a terrorist. You've had people treat him in the most disrespectful way ever. Like, for instance, you had this Southern congressman call him a liar during the State of the Union address. You've had people depict him as a witch doctor and all kinds of stuff. So he's faced even the liberal, like Joe Biden, referred to him as being clean and articulate, like it was something special for a black person to be clean and articulate and all that kind of stuff. So, he faced discrimination. You see what's happening to Colin Kaepernick, the discrimination that he faces, how he's being blackballed and blacklisted and persecuted and crucified and stuff like that. They view him as a black person. we have examples of police brutality where, you know, biracial people are treated just like any other black person. And then if you even go back to look at some of the early race discrimination cases, like the Dred Scott case and stuff like that, you'll see that, you know, black people that were, you know, they were not even, you know, you had people that were octoroon, you know, what's so-called octoroons or whatever, going back to that one drop rule that you're talking about. Even those people were subjected to discrimination. People that looked white, you know what I'm saying? They literally looked white, but because they had a little bit of black in them, they were discriminated against just like any other black person. So, I mean, I get your point, because a lot of times you have biracial people that marry, you know, they continue to marry outside of the race, and eventually black gets diluted. And, you know, it started out with a black man marrying a white woman or vice versa or whatever. And you end up with a situation where the children look nothing like the black man, like the grandchildren are even more diluted in terms of their blackness and stuff like that. So I hear you. I hear what you're saying, and I get your point. But in terms of like biracial people, I view them as black people, like, you know, like a Halle Berry or Barack Obama. I mean, there's a reason why this society referred to him as the first black president. There's a reason why this society treated him as the first black president. Well, even treated him like the N-word, frankly.
And that's because I hear you, and that's mainly because, again, of the whole one drop rule. Now, I agree with everything you just said as far as like the way, you know, way biracials was treated. And you do have biracials who consider themselves black. Actually, more so, the further back you go, the more so that mindset happened, opposed to today, where today's biracial people actually have the option of not being considered black, because now, you know, they got the whole, you know, now they got the whole other box that in the ethnicity, you know, where you're supposed to check, you know, African American, Caucasian, Latino, whatever, and they got the other box. They can actually check other now. It was that other box never existed before, you know, like it was kind of like pretty cut and dry what you had to consider yourself. And, you know, back then, you know, the W.E.B. Du Bois of the world, and, you know, the Frederick Douglasses and everything else, you know, they all was considered black and treated as black. My thing is,
right, yeah, I mean, people may have an option like to check on the box, like that they're other or that they're biracial, but despite that, society still views them as black and treats them as black. I mean,
but why?
And if we were,
why?
And if we were like
deem them as black is my question. Like, why they got just as much if they got just as much European DNA in them as black DNA, why is they considered black and not white? Why? I mean, if they have to be, it's almost like, okay, if you got to be one, just go ahead and just be black. It's like, well, why does it have to be black? Why couldn't it just be white?
As like, why is black? I mean, like, I think that, like, including those people, and, you know, it strengthens the black community. Like, if they are committed to black people, if they identify with being black, then it helps black people to increase their numbers, you know, instead of like us subdividing ourselves up into smaller categories in light of the fact that we already are a statistical minority in this country. And then when you look at defining blackness in that sense, you know, in terms of a purer sense, like very few of us would be technically fully 100% black. I mean, you even look at a Malcolm X, like his great grandfather, I guess his grandfather was a white man or something, because his grandfather was biracial. His mother was biracial. Right. And then if you look at like a Frederick Douglass, like you would like X him out of our history. Like if you say, well, he's not black, or boys and all that kind of stuff.
We can have mixed people.
Or even like somebody like a Thurgood Marshall, you'll say, well, that person's not black. Or even somebody like a Booker T. Like if I'm not mistaken, Booker T had white heritage. Like, so I don't know if he was biracial.
I think he was mixed as well. I believe he was mixed as well. Like, again, mixed people can fight for the cause. I mean, they got black in them, so they can fight for the cause. And again, this goes back to what I was really saying before. A lot of them had no choice, though. Like, let's put it like this. if you know about the Haitian Revolution, right?
Hey,
You
brothers,
had a situation.
I just wanted to say something real quick. You know,
let me just get this out real quick. You had the Haitian Revolution. You had a situation where you had the Creoles versus the African slaves, right? Now because the Creoles, when the revolution first was happening or whatever, they wasn't riding with the African slaves. They didn't even deem themselves as being the same as them. You know, even to this day, Creoles don't consider themselves to really be a part of us. They consider themselves kind of like almost like their own race. And we talking the 1800s. So they were actually signed off. They actually tried to appeal to the French. They actually tried to appeal to the French when the thing first went down. They didn't want to be. They was willing to side with the French. They didn't want to be deemed as being black. They was taking the French side. They was going to fight against the African slaves, but the French denied all that, and the French told them that they was black. They didn't say that they was black. The French told them that they was black because they was going off the one drop rule. You're black. So the Creoles was forced, but they was forced to join the revolution and and join the side of the African slaves because the French wouldn't accept them. But if the French accepted them, they would have been right there killing off the revolution. Probably would have failed. They would have been right
Creoles,
there.
Like a lot of Creoles look white. Like they don't look like they are black. Like some of them look like virtually 100.
And that's because the way they protected. And that's because they squeezed out they tried their best squeezing out as much African DNA as they possibly can.
Because they
like
kept
Creoles are real strict, kind of stuff. Right? They colorist as hell. Like Creoles.
So Aaron, you had a point. You were trying to make a point.
All right. Oh yeah, I wanted to say that because of the time that they lived in, you know, I guess in the defense of Booker T and Frederick Douglass, because the time they lived in, you probably will have more mixed and biracial people because it was so close to slavery. It was like right at the end of slavery, so to speak, or it was still going on. So I guess they could have probably been a product of the concubine and the master.
Right, exactly. They wasn't a product of jungle. They wasn't a product of jungle fever. You know, this was actual bedwitching going on, like real official bedwitching, like not what people call bedwitching today, but real bedwitching was going on.
Yeah, and I want to respond to somebody in the live chat, Sleepy CCS. She said, due to proximity to whiteness, biracial people are not treated like us. And I disagree with that for the reasons that I stated. I mean, I cited the example of Barack Obama and how he was treated. I cited the example of Colin Kaepernick and how he was treated. I mean, even if you look at somebody like a Sean King, like somebody that is biracial or whatever, you know, they have been treated like the N-word. And those are just a few examples. And you look at other biracial people, they're treated, you know, just like ordinary black people. I did a video about a biracial boy that was dating this white girl, and you know he was threatened and all that kind of stuff. And you know, if I'm not mistaken, he was injured by this white man, and this white guy faces charges and all that kind of stuff. So biracial people face similar discrimination that we face. I mean, again, if you look at the early race discrimination cases,
well. I agree that they do go through.
But I understand her point in terms of colorism, in terms of being more acceptable to the wide mainstream society. That is valid because I think that, for instance, a Barack Obama wouldn't have been embraced if he didn't have a white mother that they could identify with. You know,
and you know what's crazy about the whole Barack Obama thing as well? I don't know how true this is, but I've heard rumors that, I think it is a fact that Barack used to mess with a white girl.
Yeah, he did. That's not even the question.
Before Michelle, right?
Have white
I heard that they preferred, because when they was grooming Barack, because you know they groom presidents. Let's not get it twisted. They groom presidents. I heard one of the grooming processes was that they encouraged him to leave the white girl and get with Michelle, because it'll help as far as, like, you know, trying to you know, because he felt like if they get into politics and you have a white wife, you'll turn off certain people. And it looked better if you actually have yourself a black woman opposed to a white woman.
Yeah, that's definitely.
So he almost had to get talked into. Now, again, this is speculation. I don't have no proof of this, but this is the word that, you know, he was kind of coaxed into messing with Michelle because it was a better look for him.
Yeah, and I don't know about that, but I think that it's definitely more beneficial. You know, it was definitely more beneficial to him, like politically, to be married to a black woman. And because I think that for the most part, that's one of the reasons why a lot of black people embraced Obama, because they identify with his wife and the children and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It was a package deal for most people. So they embraced him for that reason. And I see the Sleepy CCS pointed out that like a third of the heads of Creole households in New Orleans owned slaves in the 1800s.
Right.
I mean, and I don't know that for sure, but, you know, I don't have any reason to question that. I mean, like I said before, like they were virtually white people with like a drop of blackness in them somewhere way down the line.
But
like you see a lot of these Creoles, they don't look black at all. A lot of them don't.
But they wasn't considered. It wasn't considered white though. The white people considered them black. The white people did consider them black. That was my point. Like the white people looked at them as black, and they didn't view themselves as being black. And you had the black people that, you know, was indoctrinated with the one drop rule. They considered them be black. So it's like, but you know, they mixed. That's pretty much what they is. And they did their best to keep their bloodline mixed. They didn't want to, you know, if anything, they tried to whitewash their bloodline. They didn't try to darken it. Kind of like the Dominicans. Dominicans go through the same issues. A lot of colorism down in the Dominican Republic, you know, because, you know, Dominican Republic is right on the other side of Haiti. You know, it's nothing but a river separating it. You know, it's all the same island. It's nothing but a river separating the two countries.
Haitians and all that stuff in the Dominican Republic. They, you know, there's incidents of violence and all kinds of stuff going on there, like in terms of how they treat black people. But yeah, I wanted to ask y'all about another subject. What do y'all think about this whole situation with Donald Trump and Steve? Have y'all been keeping up with that? Like what's going on with him? With respect to
what he done did. I heard something about he did something recently, but he does so much on a daily basis. It's hard to keep up. What did he do now?
Yeah, so you know, there's this book this out, you know, I think it's called Fury and Fire, or Fire and Fury, or something like that, written by this guy Michael Wolff. That's basically exposing him, and it said that like a lot of people that are close to Donald Trump view him as a childlike person, you know, somebody that has little impulse control, you know, somebody that needs instant gratification. They characterized him as a moron and stuff like that. And Steve Bannon, who was his right-hand man, basically, you know, his chief political advisor, also complained about his son, you know, Donald Jr., meeting with these Russians, and he basically said that was treasonous behavior. And he also went on to say that he has no doubt in his mind that Donald Trump also met with these Russians and stuff like that.
I believe that.
And, you know, so that's one issue. I'll put that to the side. And then you have this whole response to North Korea, where he puts out this tweet talking about his nuclear button is bigger than North Korea's button.
Yeah, I knew about that one.
Actually work and all this and that. So what do y'all think about that, like in terms of diplomacy? You can go to the whole Jerusalem thing, like how Trump recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. So it's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I do remember hearing about the book situation. I remember hearing Trump was very upset that the book was written the way it was, because he was under ideal that was going to be kind of like a butter piece. Like, you know, pretty much buttering him up and soup. You know, he thought it was going to be something else. Ended up being a little bit too much information being put out there, and he was a little bit agitated. That's what I heard about as far as with the book thing. I believe everything they say. I mean, pretty much everything you said as far as what the book is detailing, we already knew. You know, we kind of already knew. It just kind of confirms what we already knew, you know, so it's like nothing really surprising there, other than the fact that well, at least, you know, other than the fact that they came clean and actually said it themselves.
Right.
Now, as far as the whole nuclear bomb situation, him tweeting it falls back to what you just said. They said about him in the book. He got impulse issues. He's like a little child. Something's like, you know, like he gets upset. He just gets on Twitter and just starts running his mouth. Like, who does this? Like, first of all, like, again, see, this is the dangers of when you put somebody in office who's not a politician and doesn't understand how international politics are played. Like, you're not supposed to be going out here making these type of wild threats unless you're trying to start a war. And that's what it seems like he's trying to do. He's trying to start a war.
Yeah.
But that's also not a surprise because, you know, most presidents are deemed in high regard if they go into war and they come out the war as a victor. That's why a lot of these Republicans get in office and the first thing they want to start doing is beefing with everybody overseas because they want to be deemed in high regard like the what you call like the Roosevelts of the world. You know, they want to be deemed in high regard, like, you know, because presidents are judged a certain type of way and they're judged off certain things, and nothing gets you more esteem in this country opposed to winning wars. I mean, look, they still talk about George Washington to this day, and that's not because he was the first president. The reason why he was the first president is because he was the general of the Revolutionary War. Revolutionary War. So they decided to make him the first president, and that was the major part of his legacy. So these presidents love to try to go to war. Well, mainly the Republicans. You know, they love to try to go to war. They love to try to stir things up, and that's the first thing they do. And the first excuse they do to do this is to try to build up the economy, because this is true. The economy always rises whenever we go to war. Whenever we go to war, the economy rises. You know, because certain things escalate as far as like, well, at least it was in the previous years. Probably not so much now because, you know, all this we don't own the steel the way we used to. You know, right. We had a lock on steel, you know, back during the World War II and the Korean War and the Vietnam War even. We had a lock on steel, but after like the 70s, you know, all the steel mills shut down and everything else. And, you know, but I digress. The economy has normally gone up in the past whenever we go into war. So a lot of Republicans try to use that as another excuse to go to war. So he's just more open about it. So again, not surprising. It's just, you know, he's a loose cannon, and these people get what they deserve because they voted them in office. So they get what they deserve.
Yeah, that's something else. So what other kind of things are you all talking about on your channels?
Me, myself, I talk about a little bit of everything.
So what's I talk about a little bit of things you've been talking about? Like, I know the Umar thing. What other things?
The Umar thing we talked about, you know, mainly we just did a bunch we did a couple of year wrap-ups, you know, pretty much talking about everything, all the craziness that happened in 2017 and what should we expect for 2018. That's pretty much what I recently been talking about. All night we supposed to be touching on the Michael B. Jordan thing in deep detail.
Oh, okay. And what about you, Aaron? What have you been up to on your channel? Or maybe he went to sleep.
No, I meant this. What you asked me about my channel?
Yeah, like what kind of things have you been discussing lately on your channel?
I do a lot of commentary on race relations and white supremacy. But I try to switch it up too. I try to liven it up. I talk about other things too, like entertainment industry stuff, because I'm an independent filmmaker as well. And okay. Yeah, and I like to just every now and then share my faith and all that stuff too. But yeah, I mostly talk about white supremacy and things, but I try to do it in a way where I'm giving solutions, where there's some hope for us.
Right. So is there a topic that you recently discussed on your channel?
I think the latest thing I just talked about was the whole Michael B. Jordan deal. And I made that real brief because I was basically coming from the standpoint that, Black women really, you're wasting your time getting upset. That's actually something minuscule. It's actually almost close to, I don't want to use the word retarded, but it's come on now. But I mean, black women, I mean, I found out it's supposed to be fake news. I hope it is, because if you really think about it, black women, any self-respecting black woman, don't get mad over something like that. He's not even the star of the movie. I mean, and I'm not throwing shade at the brother, because I think he's a good actor. Myself, Michael B. Jordan. I mean, I saw him in Fruitvale Station, on the story of Oscar Grant. That was a pretty touching story. And I also saw him in Creed, which is part of the Rocky series. So, but
yeah, I hated Fantastic Four though.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree. They gave it to Sly, but the fact that I mean, who he dates, well, that's just who he dates. I mean, last time I checked, I don't really think he speaks up on black issues anyway. I mean, I'm still not, but that's no reason for me not to support his movie. I mean, like I was saying that. I mean, I'm gonna see Black Panther when it comes out. I mean, I happen to be a fan of Marvel. And I love the direction that Marvel is going. From a filmmaking perspective, Marvel is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, all the recent Marvel films are all connected. I'm talking about like Captain America, Thor, and yes, y'all, I'm gonna see Infinity War when it comes out.
Oh yeah, I've got to see that too. That looks good.
That too.
I'm definitely gonna see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a video about Infinity War. Y'all see it? Yeah. I saw the trailer for it. I mean, the trailer looking pretty badass, y'all. I mean,
the trailer's off the chain for that. I gotta see that.
Yeah,
True. I agree about everything he said about the Marvel thing. I'm a Marvel fan myself. Grew up loving Marvel. I love superheroes as a kid. Period. So like this, like I was going to watch this Black Panther movie, whether Michael B. Jordan was in it or not. I wasn't going to watch this Black Panther. He's not the reason for me watching this movie, regardless. He's not even really the star. He's not even the star.
He's the villain. He plays a villain in it.
Exactly. And I've been waiting for this movie since it first got announced that they was going to make it about 3 years ago. They first announced they was going to make the movie about 3 years ago, and I was excited since then. And it's now we like a month away, and you think I'm going to stop watching it because some dude want to lay up with Becky? Y'all crazy?
Yeah,
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. Exactly. Matter of fact, new possibilities. I like the video you did about the Black Panther trailer. How you mentioned that it's showing African people and it's showing Africa as a technological place, and there is technology in Africa. That's just showing that because you had some of these Hotep Negroes had an issue with that. It's I
was so outraged when I heard that people were complaining about that trailer.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, come on, as people can.
It was like under 2 minutes long.
Now you breaking up, bro.
Yeah, you breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, you were breaking up.
Psychoanalyzing it, saying, trying to analyze this thing and trying to make it's like you have haters regardless. Like people are determined to hate, and some people are determined to find a conspiracy in every single thing that happens under the sun. They believe that this white man has so much control over everything that they have to find a conspiracy behind everything. And it's just outrageous. I mean, here you have people constantly talk about the need for positive images of black men and women. And here you have a film that's presenting positive images, where you have the kings and queens that people talk about we need to see, where you have the black superhero, where you have strong black women and strong black men in the film, where you have an all-star black cast, a black director. And you have a comic book in recent years has been written by a black man, Ta-Nehisi Coates. So what are these people complaining about? It's like some of these people are ashamed of Africa, and they're ashamed of African.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, it's like basically, can I do anything to make you happy? I mean, I do this, you still not happy. I mean, well, damn. I mean, what can I do?
What was the last time you seen a movie with this budget, this large, that had mainly a black cast that wasn't biracials? I mean, like no biracials, like it's a lot of dark skin in this cast.
Yeah.
And I can't think of another budget, a large budget film that didn't have like at least a light skin. Like most of the time when black people get big budget movies, which ain't too often, but most of the time it's rarely like an all black cast, especially with this many dark skinned people. It's probably a biracial person or a lighter skinned person in general, just it presented at the forefront because, you know, lighter skinned people are less threatening. You know, they viewed as being less threatening. That's just kind of what it is. That's why they're mainly the ones that get shoved in our face every time we see it, TV shows and movies most of the time. But not this time. Like this time, like Angela Bassett is darker skinned. The star is a dark skinned dude. Michael B. Jordan is not light skinned. He's not dark skinned, but he's not light skinned either.
Yeah, he's about my complexion.
Right.
Brother. Yeah.
Exactly. So like it's good to see actual all black cast that's headlining this, and you know it's like it's unprecedented. So like especially in the comic book world, because most of the time these comic book characters they just turned them black. You know, like Heimdall and Thor. Heimdall and Thor in the comic books is not a black man; he's a white man. They turned him black. So you know, try to diversify the Marvel universe, which kind of annoyed me. Because I knew that Marvel already had black characters. You know, they already had like Black Panther. They already had Falcon. And at the time, they wasn't out. But they eventually started adding these characters on. Now I'm excited because we're actually getting the real black characters that I grew up reading. Now they're starting to finally get movies. This ain't you trying to turn a Human Torch into a black man, which is crazy too. That made no sense because if you know anything about the Fantastic Four, the woman is brother and sister. But you got the brother being a black man and the sister is still a white girl. That don't even make any sense. You done lost the whole dynamic now. You're telling me that they adopted and brother thing is different though. Like the whole bond is lost because they adopted. They're not actual siblings. So it's stupid. Why are you changing him black? Just add more black characters or start messing with the black characters you already have that exist. Don't start changing people.
Yeah, it's like if they white, keep them white. Don't try to impress us. Okay, I mean we know they're white. We know Marvel's a white company. Okay, we're not trying to just keep it white. I mean, because like you said, you know, add some black characters in.
Exactly. That's why I was happy to see Luke Cage finally get a series, and you know Falcon showing up. It'd be nice to see Falcon get his own movie. I doubt it, but it was just nice to see him pop up. And then now we got Black Panther. So. You know, I'm satisfied with them doing that. You know, like that's like if you need more black characters, add more black characters. You're a comic book company. You can make a new character tomorrow and make them popular. Yeah, they did it with Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody knew who Guardians of the Galaxy was prior to 2014 when that movie dropped. Most people didn't even know who Guardians of the Galaxy was. Now everybody running around here saying I am Groot. You understand?
Yeah, so I am Groot. Yeah,
you to popularize a character. You like if you can just make a new one, make them popular, and that's what it is.
I just came up with something, a good slogan, a good spin on I am Groot. Call it I am black.
All right, that's what's up.
Hey, that might work. Hey, but yeah, I looked at the cast of Black Panther. I'm really impressed. You know, Angela Bassett is in it. Daniel Kaluuya. He was the cat from Get Out. I think Forrest Whitaker gonna be in it too.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker's in it. Yep.
Yeah. He's another one. Yep.
There's gonna be some dark characters in there. So yeah,
I can't wait to see it. I hope it lives up to the hype.
Yeah, me too. I think it will though. I think it's gonna be. I mean, especially with Marvel, you know, being what it is right now and part of that cinematic universe. I'm very impressed. I mean, even Spider-Man is part of that family of movies. When I saw Spider-Man, I was very impressed with. And satisfied because Spider-Man was more to the comics. I mean, Peter Parker, he was a high school kid. In the last Spider-Man films with Tobey Maguire, they made him a college student. Not that there was anything wrong with it, but Peter Parker was a high school kid, you know, who was pretty goofy. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I like the other Spider-Man better than that goofy Spider-Man. Even though he's cool, like he is better in line with the comic book, as you all said. But I just didn't like him as much as the other ones, the other Spider-Man.
Well, you like the older Spider-Man better than the one they got now, and the one's going to be in the Infinity War?
I like the older one a little bit better, man, because this young one is too goofy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like he's silly.
But that was Peter, though. But that was how Peter was. That's how he was in the comics. He was a goofy dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Infinity War trailer though got me going. I mean, you got Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Black Panther, the Hulk. I mean, it's literally an ensemble who's who of all the latest Marvel films that was in there.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be good. So, what did y'all see? Justice League. What did y'all think about that?
I haven't seen Justice League yet.
Oh, you didn't see that?
I thought, no, honestly, I was me myself. I didn't go into that movie expecting a whole lot because most DC movies really kind of suck, in my opinion. Like I think DC movies are kind of horrible because I think they spent so much time in they little DCU. They little universe or whatever. They spent so much time trying to play catch up to Marvel because they were so far behind with Marvel that they just started like that whole Superman versus Batman movie was horrible in my opinion. They jammed. It was too many. It was too much going on. It was too many.
Like, to me, that movie started out good, but then when they had that villain at the end, like I didn't like that.
And everything else, that was all that was supposed to be as
good. And they said like we got to come up with some kind of way to put this all together and end it.
Exactly.
And I thought that was whack, like to put that in there. Like when it was just Superman versus Batman, I thought that was cool. You know, I like that part.
Yeah, they trying to pull
that extra stuff. I was like, nah, I'm not.
Right. That was a let's hurry up and get to the Justice League movie.
Yeah, they're trying to do Marvel basically. That's what they're doing. Because you know how Marvel has they have Easter eggs at the end of their films. That's all DC was trying to do. They're trying to pull a Marvel cinematic universe. Exactly. But it didn't work.
They realize how far behind they are in Marvel, and they realize they missed the boat because they waited too long to really start their little unit. Because another problem with DC is they only focus on two dudes. I mean, most people would probably tell you like it's only two dudes in DC, like Superman, Batman. That's it. You know, every movie is Superman, Batman, Superman, Batman, Superman, Batman. They just now starting to do other movies like Wonder Woman. Just now got a movie. She should have been had a movie.
She really should have.
Yeah, she should have been.
Marvel's just way better than DC. Like as a kid,
I agree with both of you all.
I mean, with Marvel as a kid, like, and it's just better. I mean, in terms of the Avengers, they're better than the Justice League, in my opinion. You know,
I agree with the both of you. I love Marvel. I've always loved since I was a kid. I've always loved Marvel better than DC. Marvel has always been a better product.
Marvel storylines are a whole lot more deeper, and Marvel actually takes place in real world places. Like they in New York, they in California, they in New Mexico, they in real places. Whereas opposed to DC, who's in these fictional places where you have no connection to. Where's Metropolis at?
Yeah.
Where's Gotham City at? You know, like where's Central City? Like where's these cities at? Like you only know it's
their own little world, their own little universe.
Exactly.
I think Gotham's supposed to be New York. Well, wait a minute. Metropolis is supposed to be New York too, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm about to say if Gotham's New York, then what's Metropolis? That's always been my question. Like, because one of them.
I always saw Gotham as New York and Metropolis as like a LA or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Even though they have to be close to each other because Batman and Superman interact all the time.
They make it seem like they're only like 100 miles away, maybe less.
Yeah. And then just like the whole idea of Batman going against Superman, I thought that was silly, man, because Superman is indestructible. There ain't no way Batman can mess with him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And plus, not to mention all of Marvel's characters. Marvel's characters have like either other from other planets, or they have something like genetic that happened to him. Like Spider-Man was bitten by a radioactive spider. Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider. Or David Banner, he was got gamma radiation and became the Hulk. You know,
and Marvel always touched, and Marvel also touched on social issues. They pioneered touching on social issues. Opposed to DC was on some old, straight fictional stuff. When Marvel was like the X-Men. Don't even know that the X-Men actually was based off the civil rights movement.
Yeah, I didn't know that until later, and I used to read. That was one of my favorite. That was my favorite comic book as a kid, X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I could see like some subtle references to discrimination, like how mutants were treated and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that it was connected to the civil rights movement, because they were saying like that Magneto character was supposed to be like a Malcolm X. And,
exactly.
Professor
X.
X.
Magneto, he was actually
represented Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
The non-violent movement, and Malcolm X about any means necessary movement. That's why actually Magneto's actually not a bad guy. Magneto's actually not a bad guy. You know, he's actually, you know, he's actually a nationalist. He's just a nationalist.
Him and Professor X are actually friends. They became enemies. But see, Magneto, he was actually he was a child who was brought up in the Nazi the prison camps. He watched his parents die, and he became who he is because because of personal loss. Now I know, like Batman's origin story, he watched his parents die too. But Magneto's is more like you said, it's like more real world. He was right. What do they call those German Nazi camps again, where the Jews were rounded up?
The concentration camps. The
concentration camps. Yeah, he was actually, Magneto was actually a Jewish child, and his parents were killed by Nazis.
Yeah, but he blamed all humans. He didn't. It was like they spent it. Them not even just what you call it. He just kind of. It was like, again, it was like, the mutants is our brothers, and these humans, which represented, like, again, depending on who you are, you can like kind of like insert discriminated person here and oppressor there. Like the humans are the oppressor, the mutants were the discriminated group. And so no matter what discriminated group you are part of, you can identify with the X-Men. Like it's real. And then depending on what angle you have, whatever your worldview is which side you're probably going to identify with more. Like I've always identified with Magneto for some, Magneto's a separatist. Let's just call it what it is. He's a separatist.
Right. He is a separatist. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Magneto. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Magneto, he is a separatist. And I agree with you too. He's not exactly evil. He's more like an anti-hero. He's because when it comes to, like I was saying, when it came to Professor X, he kind of slowed down. I mean, because Professor X was like, he may be doing these things, but there is still some good in him, kind of like a Luke Skywalker Vader thing. Right. There's still some good in you. They didn't take all the Anakin out of you yet. They didn't take. I think his real name was Eric Lensher.
Yeah, now that's another thing was Magneto to talk about too, man. While we're at it, like, are you all into Star Wars? Did y'all watch that latest Star Wars?
I love Star Wars, man. Let's talk about Star Wars. I saw it.
I missed the last two Star Wars. I haven't watched the last two Star Wars, so I'm a little behind.
I used to see Star Wars. You didn't see the Last Jedi?
I'm a big Star Wars fan. New Possibilities. I'm a big Star Wars fan.
See the last two. I need to watch the last two Star Wars, but I missed the last two that they made.
Yeah, you could wait for the DVD for the Last Jedi.
Yeah, I saw it.
It wasn't that great.
What did you think about it, Aaron? What did you think about it?
Well, me being a Star Wars fan, I loved it. I mean, I loved what they did with Luke's character. I like the fact that
you like that Last Jedi. You actually like that film.
I like the Last Jedi because it was, to me, it was a little bit more realistic, and it also gave the newer characters a chance to shine. Like they showed Luke, he was kind of more like a senile old bastard type of character who's like, I'm tired of the Jedi Order. I want to just pass this on and just die in peace. Because if you saw it, he actually came to that island. He said, I just want to come here and die. I don't want to be a Jedi no more. I don't want to be none of it. Let me hurry up and train this girl so she can get out of my hair. And let me go kill my nephew too. So
yeah, since Psycho hasn't seen it, like I can't talk about it the way I want to.
I got a rule of thumb. I got a rule of thumb. If it's like 3 weeks to a month and the person ain't seen it, then you ain't got to worry about those spoilers. Yeah, that's on me. But I did hear. I just want to add. I do know some Star Wars purists who's complained about the Star Wars since Disney brought the franchise out.
Yeah, that's how I am. Like, I'm a purist when it comes to Star Wars,
well,
man. I'm like,
well, you know, Disney brought Marvel out too, right? Since we just got through talking about Disney on Marvel too.
Yeah, I don't think Disney.
Well, they're doing a good job.
I've heard complaints about Star Wars.
They on Marvel also New Possibilities. Yeah, you didn't know that, huh?
No, I didn't know that.
Let me tell you about. Since you didn't know about that, let me just add this too, real quick, since we on that. Disney owns Marvel, and one of the things that happened was Marvel was going out. Marvel was about to approach bankruptcy. Actually, they might have went bankrupt, and they did in like the late 90s. Marvel went bankrupt, and the way they had got out of bankruptcy was they sold the rights to their characters, to the movie rights to some of their characters to other companies. Like Spider-Man got Sony, like the old Spider-Man movies that you was talking about with Toby doing whatever his name is. Those are all Sony movies. And then the X-Men went to Fox. X-Men, that's what all those X-Men movies, that's why you don't see no X-Men in the MCU with all the other Marvel characters, everything else, because Fox actually owns the rights to them and everything. And now what happened was they actually worked out a deal with Sony to get Spider-Man to come over to the MCU. That's why you was actually able to see Spider-Man the last couple of joints or whatever. So now
that's why that's why you said that X-Men is separated from the rest of the Marvel.
Right.
Yeah,
but what happened was, but this is the
X-Men is owned by Fox.
But what happened now is Disney is now brought out Fox. Disney now owns Fox now, because now they just did some old $59 billion deal or something like that, where Disney brought out Fox. So now Disney owns Fox. So now you probably going to start seeing the X-Men coming over to the MCU, and you're going to start seeing mutants and everything now starting to appear all over the place and everything, because now they could join back together, because Marvel now owns the movie rights to everybody. They don't have that same issue they had before, but they had issues before with the movie deals.
Yeah, because you never see like X-Men going, interacting with the Avengers or any of those other Marvel characters.
Yep, and that's why it was over the movie rights.
Yep.
Yeah, Marvel is definitely way better than DC, like from the comic books and in the movies, man.
Yeah,
it is.
I agree.
Yeah, Marvel's much better.
I think DC. Only thing DC does better than Marvel is I think they do animation better than Marvel. I think DC's animation is great. I think Marvel's animation is lacking. Like if you ever watch those animated movies, they be having those little animated movies or whatever. Like,
oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, DC's animated movie. Even if you go to like the old series, like those old Batman, Superman series that they used to do and everything, those are really well done. Where Marvel had a couple of good ones back then, but some of them went like the crap.
Marvel used to have good cartoons. Like when I was a kid, they had like the Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, and all that kind of stuff.
Fantastic.
And the art wasn't that great, but it was still like I remember those as classic cartoons. And even like in later years, they had a cartoon for the X-Men, which was good.
Right.
But yeah, I hear you. Like I know that like Batman had great cartoons and stuff back in the day.
Yeah, and that Justice League series they had was really good too. Yeah, that was very well done. So yeah. They do a better job of animation. That's what I'll give DC. Yeah, and that's I think a lot of that got to do with they characters actually do better on animation to oppose the big screen, because they characters are so overpowered. Like they have these like Marvel characters are more relatable, but because like outside of Batman, who can you really relate to in DC? Like it's like because you got aliens and people with superpower rings that do all types of madness. You got people that are radiation, all like they fight intergalactic aliens all the time in DC. You feel what I'm saying? Like, just look at the people they fighting. Like Batman, the only one fighting normal people.
Yeah, it's like Superman is like, I mean, he's such a ridiculous superhero, man. It's like he can do everything. Like he's super fast, super strong, indestructible.
Exactly. He has no limitations really outside of kryptonite.
He's crazy, man. It's like they shouldn't even create a superhero like that, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but he's their hero. He's their national hero. Most
If
of
it
these
wasn't
characters.
for kryptonite, it wouldn't be anything to stop him, man. Nothing would be able to mess with him.
Well, technically speaking, kryptonite is a rock, and guess what? It's a rock that's killing brothers now. So
That's funny.
yeah.
They say the white woman is the black man's kryptonite. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, they are
Yeah,
killing
that
the
too.
brothers.
Or you know
Yeah,
they
like that
call what
whole
you know, or you
Stanson's
know they call cocaine. Another name they call cocaine is white girls. So yep, exactly.
Oh man, y'all are tripping. Yeah, but I didn't want to keep y'all up super late. I want to thank y'all for hanging out, man. This has been cool. We're gonna have to do this some other times as well. And
Yeah,
somebody
definitely.
just mentioned the Guardians of the Galaxy, and you were talking about that before. Like I wasn't even familiar with that until the movie came out. That must be a later
Exactly.
cartoon.
It was they created them like in the 2000s. They created them like in the early 2000s, whatever, like comic book series or whatever is that third. It was popular amongst comic book readers or whatever from what I've seen. And then the movie came out. But like you, I never really heard of them until the movie and everything else. It was a good movie.
Yeah, it's a
But
great movie, man. It's much
yeah,
better than I expected. Both of them
exactly.
were good. Both of them were, the first one and the second one.
Right. I didn't know what to expect on the first one because I didn't know too much about him.
I kind of like came into it thinking it was going to be corny and
right.
everything, but it was very
Uh-huh.
entertaining, man. I was like, wow, I like this series.
Yeah. And that's why I was saying, like, about the black characters, that they really want to develop some new black characters. They proved it could be done and done real easy with this whole movie aspect that they got going on. It's real easy to get a popular character known now.
Yeah, it's like they don't have to change characters into black characters.
Right.
They can just, like you said, make completely new characters that are black. And they're
Now,
right. Yeah.
I don't know if y'all noticed this about the first Iron Man. Remember his friend Rhodes? If you know that there's a flaw, they turned him from a light skinned black dude to a dark skinned black dude. Because Terrence Howard played him first. In the next movie, Don Cheadle played him.
He was darker in the comic books. He was more Don Cheadle in the comic books than Terrence Howard. But Terrence Howard did start off. That was a money thing too. That was I looked into all that. Like, why did he leave?
So which one do y'all think was better, Terrence Howard or what's his name, Cheadle?
I like Don Cheadle would be better.
Terrence Howard never got to wear the suit. Terrence Howard never got to wear the suit, so it's kind of hard to say. But I like Terrence Howard. I like Terrence Howard. I like him as an actor, to be honest with you.
Oh, I see that Ancient Melanin joined. Yeah, you joined right at the tail end because I'm about to bounce out of here because I don't know how y'all hang up. Like, I know that Psycho stays up all night. You'll do like a hangout. And I'll go to sleep with your hangout, then wake up in the morning and y'all still going strong. I'm like, man, I didn't been on one. Must be some vampires or something, man.
I didn't been on one of Psych hangouts. Matter of fact, I was on the hangout, your Christmas Eve hangout. I think I was on that one. Yeah, you was up for a minute.
Yeah. I get insomnia. I'll be up all night. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially out there on the East Coast, man. Boy, they say the city that never sleep, New York, they ain't right.
Yeah, a lot of times what happened too is I'll get home and then I'll go to sleep like around 6 o'clock or something and wake up like around 11 o'clock and then I'm up all night. So that happens a lot too.
Yeah.
So Ancient Melanin, before we go out, like what do you want to add to the discussion? Well, I guess you just joined. Guess you don't have anything else to add. Yeah, with that, I want to thank y'all, man. Thank y'all for hanging out. I appreciate it. And we're going to have to do this again sometime. I'm going to have to do join y'all's hangout. One of y'all hangouts, Psycho and Aaron, so, let me know when your next hangouts are coming up and I'll be glad to tune in and check them out.
Yeah, I wonder how do you know how to do hangouts from a smartphone?
Yeah, there's a way. I don't usually do mine that way, but I know that people can do them. You could probably search on YouTube, and I'm sure somebody's uploaded a video. explain.
Yeah, I've done plenty of live streams. I do live streams. I can do that pretty well. But yeah, I wouldn't mind doing some hangouts, invite some people on, talk.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you can do the hangout from the phone, but I know you can go live from the phone. I'm not sure
I
if
do
you can
live
do that.
streams.
Yeah, you can definitely. I did that earlier today as a test. Yeah, you could do that with no problem. But yeah, I want to thank y'all. I appreciate it. Good night to all of you. Good night to the people in the live chat. Shout out to Hollow Point. I see you in there. Shout out to everybody else as well. Good night, everybody. Thanks again, y'all.
Peace. Black Power, fam.
Later, fam.